Today we're going to be checking out SpongeBob SquarePants Titans of the Tide on Switch 2, and this one's a little bit different. The demo's live right now, any of you can grab it, and I recommend you do, because it gives you a proper nice feel for what this new SpongeBob game is all about. Now, I first played it at Gamescom earlier this year, and look, honestly, I came away smiling. I remember saying something along the lines of, yeah, look, SpongeBob fans, you're going to eat this up. It looked confident, bright, silly, full of energy. But early show PC demos, they can lean towards looking perfect. When you compare them to what actually hits consoles, that can be very different. So today, we finally got the Switch 2 build, it's running on final hardware, so I want to dig into how does it actually hold up? What is that performance like? Before we do get into that though, if you do enjoy these honest Switch 2 performance reviews, the good, the bad, the ones that wobble somewhere in between, hit subscribe. That helps out the channel a huge amount. So story-wise, it opens exactly how you'd expect from SpongeBob. It's total nonsense delivered at full speed, and that is a compliment. The Krusty Krab here is running a massive half-off sale on Krabby Patties. Basically, the whole of Bikini Bottom, they've turned up, they're queuing out the door, and then King Neptune cuts the line. Now, that wouldn't normally be an issue. However, the Flying Dutchman is also in line. They're not having any of it. So yeah, things escalate in about 10 seconds flat, and boom. Half the town gets blasted into ghost form. That, however, includes SpongeBob himself. It is dramatic, it's stupid, it's perfectly on brand. And when it comes to the gameplay accompanying this, well, basically you start off the demo as SpongeBob. At the Krusty Krab, you're going to be flipping burgers, setting up the restaurant. However, once this opening setup is complete, you'll be transitioning over to Patrick. You're basically still alive, you're somewhat kind of confused, and you're trying to get to the Krusty Krab because, yeah, you want a Krabby Patty yourself. You kind of act as the muscle of the operation, however, because once you've done some initial platforming and combat, it introduces a twist, which I think is actually really clever. It's basically that SpongeBob and Patrick wear these best friends forever rings, and it lets them swap who's a ghost at any time. So it's essentially a body swap mechanic that feeds into very light puzzle platforming. See, I think Patrick, they can lift heavy stuff, boxes, anchors, anything that looks like it might crush SpongeBob. Or SpongeBob gets all the flashy mobility moves, so like a flying dive that acts almost like a homing attack. It's going to be good for traversal and enemies. It feels halfway between kind of like Sonic and slapstick. But the thing is, overall for the gameplay, I want to say it actually feels really good. Movements got bounce, jumps land where you'd expect them to. I think attacks connect with a really nice, effect. And yeah, it's not trying to reinvent the wheel for the genre, but it nails the cartoon vibe. The demo itself then, what does it include? It's small, honestly, but it is smartly built. It gives you a really nice snapshot. You'll move from the opening at Krusty Krab through the streets of Bikini Bottom, so plenty of background characters to meet. Then there's a short boss encounter. It's more of a tutorial than a challenge. Beat that, and next thing you know, you're actually on a flying pirate ship. This appears to be acting as a hub board, so I imagine that's going to be a repeating element of the final release. Finally, we're on this island where we think there may be treasure. We have to repair a lighthouse before it says, now you can visit the jungle zone. That's where the demo cuts off. It's really right as things start to ramp up. But yeah, I came away from a gameplay perspective thinking this could be a proper little decent platformer, not just a nostalgia play. The animations are smooth, the humor hits, the pacing feels right, but then you do notice the frame rate, and I really want to discuss this. It's not bad per se, but it's not going to be maybe what some expect. Alright, so performance, and this is where things wobble a little bit. The demo gives you two modes, quality and performance. Switching between them, it's definitely going to be a very different type of experience. So quality mode targets 30 FPS. It generally sticks there, but for me, it feels choppy. Something about it's not smooth. Your eyes will tell you something's a little off. I don't know, it's playable, but just feels jittery. Performance mode, though, goes for 60 FPS, which sounds perfect, and it should be, but that is until you start moving, and that is mainly through open areas. Indoors or small locations, you're going to hit that clean 60. It feels great, smooth controls, fast camera movement, combat feels sharp. Step outside, though, and you can feel the console, sigh a little bit. The frame rate tends to hover between 50 and 55. It sometimes dips into the high 40s. That seems to be when there's a lot of particle effects or a decently sized draw distance. It's still absolutely better to play this way, but it's just a shame to see a brand new Switch 2 exclusive struggling to keep it steady. You know, if this was on Switch 1 and Switch 2, I'd maybe get it, but this has been built apparently for the hardware, so I did expect a little bit more. Visually then speaking, between these two modes, there's not really a night and day difference. I don't see too many reasons to be playing at 30 personally. A quality mode gives you nicer lighting and slightly cleaner edges, but honestly, unless you kind of pause and stare, I think you'll barely notice. Basically, the trade-off isn't worth losing those extra frames. The real visual problem though for me is the blur. When I played the PC build months ago, the image was razor sharp. On Switch 2, there's a clear softness, like the entire screen has a thin layer of Vaseline. The culprit though, at least partly anyway, seems to be the motion blur setting. It's cranked up to 50% by default. I imagine this is designed to hide aliasing, but all it does is make everything smear, especially when you rotate that camera. The good news, there's a slider. Now I dropped it down to 0 and I think it looked much better. For the sake of this video, everything you are seeing is actually cranked to about 20%. But yeah, instant difference. I would jump there immediately. That is, if you're playing the demo, just do yourself that favor, tweak it before you even start. Beyond that, then, there's the usual mix of nice little touches and I guess low budget compromises. Again, this isn't a AAA price point. It's somewhere in the region of $40 or your regional equivalent. I think the lighting is lovely, especially in that quality mode, but is it worth 30 FPS? No, it's not. Krusty Krab looks good. Locations look good. I thought the reflections were really well done, but some areas also clearly take a hit. Background detail drops off fast. You'll see some texture pop in here and there. Characters, thankfully, look fantastic. I think the animation team nailed it. And the cutscenes, they look good too. See, I think overall, it's kind of a mixed bag from the performance perspective. It's almost like 90% of the way there, but that extra 10% I'm really hoping can get polished out before full release. Audio-wise, then, it's classic SpongeBob, you know, not too much to add here. It's the full cast back. The soundtrack is borrowing heavily from the show, and it's full of that goofy sound effect chaos. I think every jump squeaks, every hit splats, it's loud, it's silly, it completely fits. Yeah, that's about it for audio. Look, honestly, you like SpongeBob, it sounds like SpongeBob. So look, overall, how does it hold up on Switch 2? And I'd say it's like 90% of the way there. The bones are good, the movement feels great, the humor's spot on, and the world design's got personality. But the tech side isn't where it should be just yet. That 30 FPS mode just doesn't feel good enough anymore, not on new hardware, not for a platformer like this. And the 60 FPS mode, it needs more optimization to hold steady. You know, resolution then is soft. The blur, thankfully, we can dial it back, but the preset, too aggressive. And the image quality overall, it's not quite doing the art style justice. But then again, here's the thing, as I mentioned, this isn't a full price release. It's launching at around $40 or your regional equivalent, and I think for that price point, I do think there's a lot to be excited for, because the core gameplay is fun. It's the kind of thing you throw on for an hour, collect some jellyfish, and unwind. Now, if the devs can tighten performance before launch, there's not too long to go yet, this could be a fantastic, family-friendly platformer to show off the Switch 2's brighter side. If not, well, look, I think it's still going to be a solid time, just with a few dropped frames along the journey. So for now, SpongeBob SquarePants Titans of the Tide is what I'd call fun but flawed. It's full of charm, short on polish, and totally on brand for SpongeBob. Just remember again as well, this is only the demo. Things can and potentially will change before the full release, so do keep an eye on the channel for my full review once it drops. I'll test that final build, check both modes again, and we'll see if they manage to tidy it up. Now, if you did enjoy this video, hit like, drop a comment, subscribe, helps out the channel a huge amount, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers all.